Welcome to Partners in Ministry. My name is Dan Smith, and today I'll be talking with Rob Talbot. Rob is the Executive Director of Josiah White's Quakerdale Foundation in New Providence, Iowa. In this interview, we're going to talk about the Foundation's creation of a Center for Generosity. Welcome, Rob, and thanks for joining me today.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks.
Now, as a foundation, you live in the world of generosity, so it's not surprising that an organization like yourself would come up with the idea of a Center for Generosity. But what exactly is the Center for Generosity?
As we look at our world today and the way the style of giving is changing, and it used to be that older generations, like such as my parents and older than my parents, they were the kind of givers that would just get involved with something, and they would sign up, and they would give some every month, and it would just be a normal part of their lives. And I think as we look at our culture today, it's a different kind of culture. People are still very generous, but I don't think that the example is necessarily there. And I think that there's a lot of need for a way for people to be able to learn a little bit about generosity, how enjoyable it is, not only just for those who are receiving, but for the giver. And I think as we look into the future, well, we I think can use some of those ideas that might help people get better at that. And so we're really excited about the idea of expanding generosity, talking about it, helping people who really think that's something they'd like to do, that we could help them do that in a better way.
Sure. So what kind of things would be a part of a Center for Generosity? What would it look like?
Yeah, I think, first of all, as mentioned before, most people who are generous realize the benefits of it. And I think there's even medical studies out there talking about how giving actually increases the quality of life, our health, everything about our life. And that's not necessarily the reason people give. I mean, it takes a generous spirit, right? But the idea here is, how can we do that? How can we be better at that? And so teaching just why it's a good idea, and then actual strategies. And we've got some plans to come out and, well, beyond having our generosity summit that we have every year, and learning about people and places that are teaching about generosity, we're working on having special trainings on generosity and ways that people can, watch a little video about another type of generosity, another way that maybe people thought, well, all I can do is give, and I don't have that much to give right now, or maybe I'll have more in the future, and we can talk about that. But it's hard to do something if you don't have an idea in your mind. And so casting that kind of a vision is something that I think is really important, something that I think is going to be exciting to see how it works.
Well, who all can be a part of this? I mean, where are your contributors going to come from?
Well, obviously, the folks that have been involved with us all along are the first place that we're going to share some of this type of stuff with. And then I think as we continue to share the story, share about the great causes that the foundation is supporting, and generating, giving of our resources that have been given to us, that we can also attract more people. And one of the things that's happening through our grant cycle this year is we're just bumping into a lot of really, really neat ministries and really, really neat leaders. And, that's another way we're able to share with folks is, some people have certain things almost everybody has a certain thing that there maybe really strikes a chord with them. And so introducing them through videos like this, where we're talking about great things that are happening, and allowing people to see, oh, well, that's something I could give toward. Now, if I only had enough money, or if I only knew the right strategy, or, those are, then we're starting to get that synergy going. We're talking with businessmen more, who want to be generous through their business. We're talking with people who want to start ministries, um, and they need investors. And so that kind of an environment is what we're creating.
Sure. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of networking going on.
Yeah, that networking word, as an introvert, scares me. But truthfully, just getting to know people, learning about what they're doing, getting in a relationship with them, and yeah, and building a group of people who really are excited about that. You know, one of the things that's going to come out in our next little in our May, what we used to call a May appeal letter, it is basically a letter talking to people about three cool ministries that they can learn about for maybe the first time ever, and they're more of the style of ministry that Quakerdale, as a youth serving organization, as a residential treatment organization, they are doing those types of things in their own states where it works. You know, and so the climates of different locations make ministries different, and there's more opportunities in different places. And so exposing our lifelong donors to some residential treatment facilities that are doing a lot of stuff that we used to do, that's exciting. So then they can say, well, that really excites me. Maybe I'd like to give to one of those.
Sure. Yeah. So who all will have access to these resources?
You know, anybody who wants to learn more about generosity and to start paying attention. You know, what I've learned more and more of is that there are things that are happening around us that we don't notice until we decide to notice, until it becomes real to us, right? And so we're going to take advantage of some big changes that are happening at Quakerdale right now, specifically at our New Providence campus, and saying, you know, obviously things are different, and maybe people who weren't paying attention, just thinking they knew what we did, but changed, you know, almost 8 years ago. That when we became a foundation, that now we can start sharing some of that news with them, and maybe they'll become more aware of it, and learn about maybe some ways that they could be more generous.
Sure. Are you going to require like a membership or something to be a part of this?
I don't think so. I think the membership is to say, I raise your hand and say I want to be involved, and then you know, we've got groups already that are mastermind groups of people starting ministries, and they're working together to help one another, sharing things that they've learned, and struggles that they've had, and we've got other lots of ministries across the country who are all coming together to say, okay, how do we help children and families more? And because when you're working with the foundation, pretty much what we're going to be doing is helping children and families in connection with our long time, you know, calling from our founder, Josiah White, to help children and families learn more about God and to be a productive part of our community. And so those are the things that we're, you know, always going to be working on.
Sure. So it sounds like there's been some things that have already been going on, and now what you're doing is finding a place to bring this all together so people can discover a multitude of different things that might help empower them in their generosity journey.
Yeah, I mean, it might just be watching. You know, just watch when things come out. These kinds of interviews. Watch when you go to check out our website or our YouTube channel, and see what's going on. But it also might mean getting on the phone, give us a call. You know, I got this idea, this ministry. There's something already going that I'd like to help, and just starting to be a part of that community and sharing about what's going on. And hey, I'd like to help them more, but I don't know how, or maybe the foundation can help them. All those kinds of things, and maybe they can help us in our generosity goals, to really be that center where different people and different things are happening and all coming together in a group where we can make a difference.
Sure. So have you put together kind of like a target date for this to launch, or is it kind of already been going in the background and now what we're kind of doing is just bringing it together? I mean, how do you see this being announced to the world out there?
I think that we've been talking about this on the board level for a long time. We've been doing things to and what would they call that? Maybe a a soft open. There's no big banners. There's no big flags being flown. But I think as we are seeing this interesting synergy happening, these people getting involved, and all those folks that you interview in your summits, we're seeing a really exciting thing grow and blossom, and so it's happening right now, and how it's happening today may be even different next year, but but it's definitely happening right now.
That is great. Well, Rob, just thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. So the Center of Generosity really sounds like it's going to be a great resource for somebody to come and learn how they can grow their generosity.
Yep, it's exciting.
Well, if you got any questions or if you'd like to learn more about the Quakerdale Foundation or the Center for Generosity, you can find Rob's contact information here on the screen. You can also find it in the show notes for this episode on our website or in the description of this YouTube video. On behalf of the Josiah White's Quakerdale Foundation, Rob Talbot, and Partners in Ministry, I want to thank you for joining me today. And until next time, let's get out there and serve as Christ serves.